we saw the suspects running from the store when we approached. And we followed them around the block a couple of times around the block, and they started shooting at us.
How many times did he fire?
About 5 or 6.
Did you return the fire?
One time, yeah.
Was anyone hurt?
No.
Do you know what you struck, sir?
Let's go ahead and move out.
Thank you very much.
Well, I pointed, as I got in front of Sears, I saw the pickup again coming towards me. They made a turn over to this parking lot, and by that time, I saw the squad car coming behind, and I pointed him again this way, the direction they had gone. And I came in there, and I saw the policeman duck down, and guns drawn, so I said, well, there must be some shooting, so I ducked too.
Where'd you duck, Albert?
Well, I ducked over there towards the construction.
I definitely think it was a senseless killing. In respect, I can't see what purpose it would have. The man had no defense other than his arms. The other man was armed.
Could the assailant have perceived the dead man as having been a threat to his getaway?
If he did, I can't see how.
What kind of a man would it take to shoot down a 66-year-old bystander?
It would take someone that was very desperate, or someone who was very much a coward.
Johnny Horizon, where do you go from here?
Well, I'm on my way to a better day where the air is clean and the water is clear.
I don't believe that Red China will move into Southeast Asia and engage American troops, because that would mean the virtual certainty that we would bomb their industry out of existence, that we would bomb their nuclear development out of existence. They would face the possibility that 1 million troops under Chiang Kai-shek might be unleashed on their eastern flank. These are all inhibitions on Red China. Too, they've got their own internal problems to deal with at the moment. So I think that they are only saber-rattling. I don't think they would follow through. To begin with, they have been active in Laos for some time themselves. We are not threatening the territorial integrity of Communist China at all. We have no intention of doing so.
No, it is possible. Remember, during the Korean conflict, I do not recall precisely what China has done, but China warned United Nations and United States either 3 or 4 times that they would interfere as soon as the forces, Allied forces, would come a little bit too close to their borders, which they consider serious threats to their national security, and they did. The tragedy, I think, in the whole Vietnamese situation, that North Vietnam managed not to allow Chinese divisions to penetrate North Vietnamese territory in order to help them, remembering that China once occupied Vietnam, North and South, for 700 years. And every national hero of Vietnam is a Vietnamese who fought successfully against Chinese. And if at the present time China will find pretexts to go into Laos or in Vietnam, it might stay there for centuries.
Well, the guy came in from around the check stand, the cash, where they cash checks, and he fired twice, once into the, when the guy first went around the corner, and then once again when he fell on the floor, and possibly a third time. And after that, I didn't see which door he went out or what kind of car he got in or anything like that.
What did you do when you heard the first shot?
I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought someone had set off a firecracker.
When did you decide it was for real?
When he fell.
I predicted that if we had a few breaks and got things going for ourselves, we'd finish in second place. And I still believe that we will. We're 1 point behind Dallas at this stage of the game, and I think we can catch them. We have to play them 4 more times, and everything will depend, I believe, on what we do against Dallas in those 4 games. The way our hockey club has been playing lately, I'm very proud of them. They've been working very hard for me, and they want to finish up in the standings. The only reason I don't think we can finish first is because I think Omaha has too many points at this stage of the year, but I certainly feel that we will finish second.
Bob Lemieux has gone on record as saying, as predicting exactly the number of games the Wings would win, and this leaves him with just 3 losses left for the season. Do you feel this is an exaggerated estimate?
Yes, it is, Jerry, very much so. They're going to find that they have approximately, I believe, 23 hockey games left to play, and they're going to lose, I'm going to say, go on record as saying losing at least 23. I think they'll lose 9 or 10 of them.
How do you feel about your schedule?
Well, our schedule, I think Fort Worth has a little better schedule than us. I mean, their home schedule is a little better than ours because they have 2 more home games than we have. But we have 2 games in hand, which could make up the difference. And I always say that we must play them on the road and we must win them. But we're going to win some at home, and we're not going to lose too many at home for the rest of the season. So I've got it calculated pretty well down to the end of the season, and given Oklahoma City and Fort Worth a little bit of an edge, that we could end up, this is my prediction, 1 point ahead of Fort Worth and possibly 6 points ahead of Oklahoma City.
And the winner, Larry Clarkcroft in the red corner.
Well, we thought that the entire proposition was rather ludicrous, and the results were, of course, amusing and to be expected. I thought particularly that the head of the CCA's statement that even if 300,000 cards had come in backing one person, that the CCA would not necessarily choose him. Now, if that had happened, that would have been at least 4 times as many people as have ever voted in a Dallas City election. And to deny a majority of that kind would just be absolutely preposterous, and I think it underlines really what they're trying to do.
Are you saying then the postcard survey was colored?
I'm saying that the postcard survey was a means of selecting the people whom they really intended to select. In other words, in giving them some sort of a public backing or a presumed public backing.
Well, how would this be accomplished? How would you do this, set it up, in other words?
Well, Mr. Schoellkopf didn't let you count the cards, did he?
From what happened last night, a very bad thing happened last night. The CRG was supposed to have had some type of a political meeting out here, and when the grassroots community people showed up with the youth and the senior citizens and all, they backed out and would not feed the youth. We had to take up money. So I'm saying this, we are serving notice to all political hacks who have their machines and their lackeys in our communities. That day is over. They are going to have to touch bases with community people at large.
How are you going to accomplish this?
Just like we did last night, from word to mouth, knocking on doors and taking the good news.
Mr. Hamil, with the trend in the census showing that people are moving more to the urban areas and leaving the rural areas, what is this going to do to the REA?
Well, I think it's evident right now that about 70% of the people in this country are living on 1 or 2% of the land. It's a very small figure. Actually, what is happening is people are establishing weekend homes, and there are housing districts being established out in rural areas, housing districts, just housing clusters. Consequently, it's my opinion that there will be more people living in what is now referred to as rural America in 10 years, even percentage-wise, than there is right now.
Do you feel that eventually the REA will move into the fringe areas and the urban centers and be able to relieve some of the burden there?
Well, they are in the areas, fringe areas right now, because take Dallas, Fort Worth, the area that we're located in right here today. 35 years ago, what's suburbia here now was part of rural Texas.
There is no strong concerted drive afoot to bring hard liquor advertising on radio or television. There has been an announcement made by one group owner that he would carry hard liquor advertising in the future if he received any orders for same. To the best of my knowledge, at this time, he has not received any orders for same, and this is the only individual that I know of that has made such an announcement. Now, I would like to mention the cigarette thing, because I think that this probably is one of the most discriminatory pieces of legislation that's ever been adopted by the Congress of the United States. The fact that only one advertising media is precluded from carrying cigarette advertising when you see it carried in magazines and newspapers, skywriting and billboards, and magazines are getting more and more pages of it each and every week, and I just think it's a discriminatory piece of legislation.